And yeah, here they come. And we got a few. Yep, the regulars are all in.
They're all shuffling in.
They're all shuffling in. All right, everyone. Welcome to Trash Talk number, Peter,
45.
45. Yep. Been a couple of months before we've had one of these. So sure we've all got a lot to talk about. Tandy Assembly's just been, and we're staring the end of the year right in the face. So let's make it a good one. An efficient one's a good one.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so just update you a little bit on what I've been doing, and then I'll hand around to people. Um, so in Tandy World, I went to Tandy Assembly, and I'm sure everyone was either there or they were watching. They have watched now the YouTube live streams. They're great. Of course, my parts, the auction and the trivia game were the best. So make sure you watch them when you get a chance. We also had a bunch of great speakers as well. They were really good as well. And yeah, give us any feedback of what you thought about what was the best bits of Tandy Assembly. We always listen to people's feedback and try to incorporate what we can in next year's show. In other news, some people may know, I took a freelancing job as a monthly columnist for the new Computes Gazette magazine. So my first article will come out um, around the 8th or 9th of November.
You've had like three Jokers.
Uh, can you repeat that?
Uh,
No? Okay.
somebody just forgotten to mute.
Okay. And yeah, so I'll do that for as long as they'll have me, and hopefully try and get the word about the world of Tandy TRS-80 out to the readers of Computes Gazette. For those who don't know, it was relaunched in June or July this year, both a digital and a paper magazine type of magazine monthly. Can subscribe to it, and I suggest everyone does because the world needs the hobby itself of retro computing needs a good magazine like this to legitimize the hobby. Whereas people who previously read Computes Gazette may think of it as a Commodore 8 and 16-bit magazine. This new version is now covering all vintage platforms and is a retro computing magazine. So yeah, please do subscribe if you haven't already done so. In in Tandy land, I'm about to release these onto the world. Let's see if we can get a good. Yeah, it's a Coco floppy controller. It's a it's my version of the Disto mini controller number one, which is a basic controller, but its main claim to fame is that it has two ROM sockets, and a switch between them, so you can have two different ROMs. So for people who have got, say, a, a Coco and a Dragon, they can put a ROM in each and switch between them, so they don't have too many. When they're looking for their disk controller, they can find it easily. It's in the other computer. And the one of the ROM sockets will take 24 or 28 pin um, uh, proms. So if people have got a dead Coco controller that's not worth repairing, they can just prise their disk extended basic prom out of it and put it in that socket there. And then they've got disk basic back, and then they've got another EEPROM there. They can put whichever modified or updated DOS they like. So they'll be coming out soon with a Tim Halloran printed 3D case. Designed that one, Tim, so that it fits in your case without much in the way of modification. It should look good. They'll come in white or silvery grey. Um, so I think that's about it. That's all I've really got to update at the moment. I will hand you over to Peter, who'll give you the Tandy assembly update.
Thanks, Ian Maverick. Yep. So we haven't had this show since 10 December. I think the last trash talk we had was back in, was it July? Um, yep. So we had another iteration of Tandy Assembly. This was the biggest show yet as far as number of exhibitors and attendees. And we are maxing out the current venue. So we did have some discussions with them, and apparently they said that for next year they will be able to accommodate more tables. So we'll be able to have even more exhibitors next year if we stay in this venue. So, we are looking into other options, but uh, comes to worst, we will have it in the same venue, but we'll have more tables. So the show will still be able to continue to grow. We have a very good relationship with that venue, so we'll see how things go. So, but it was a great success. The auction did well. We made enough money to keep the show going for another few years, so that's all that matters. Um, all the proceeds go into the costs of running the event, the dinner, the venue fees. So yeah, it was a great success. Mav again was our auctioneer and our MC for the trivia contest. How did you think that went, Mav?
The auction I thought was fun. It was funny at times. Every auction every year is completely different. This year we were sort of well, I suppose Thomas isn't around. Thomas McLaren helped me out, but I think he also felt guilty for bringing like 25 LCD monitors along to sell off there, and so he helped out. He was great, and we had a big eclectic collection of stuff. I think we had the most printers we've ever had in one auction either as well, and so if you get a chance, yeah, watch it. It was pretty good. We tried a new system of numbering um, of numbering items as they're being auctioned. I think it it did work well. It felt a bit kludgy because I'm not used to it doing it that way, but I think in the long run it worked. I suppose the next step, Peter, if the auction gets any bigger, is paddles with numbers on them, and which will be which will then make us really look like a professional outlet. Yeah, I my commentary on some of the things there is well, I'm quite pleased with how I managed to get even the most turkey of a item sold. Some things when it comes in, I look at it and think, geez, who the hell's going to buy this piece of crap? But it's
I
a
was
it's a it's a no minimum bid auction, so it all sells.
I was very excited to pick up a couple of those Daisy Wheel 2 paper feeders uh, for
Yes,
or steel. I forget what I got them for. It was like $25.
something like that. Yeah, and they were new in the box. They've been in the box since the 1980s, so
And they
that's
were like
always
what were they, like $500 a piece when they were new?
Yeah, yeah, they knew how to charge for those things, our friends at Radio Shack. And then I did the trivia game a little bit afterwards, and so I've been meaning for years to try and get more women involved in Tandy Assembly because they do come along, and we're very happy, pleased to see them there. The wags, I call them, wives and girlfriends of the people who attend Tandy Assembly. So this year I had a small 4 round trivia game for the girls, and you should watch it if you get a chance. It went well, went pretty, it had some funny moments, and I talked individually to them afterwards, and they all said they had a great time. So I'm hoping that next year as well, I'll get 3 more girls who want to do that. We then after that had the main trivia game, which is 8 rounds with 3 experts, who were this year Jeff Burt, Joel Hilliard. Hey Joel, how you doing? And Marcel Ertz. So we had a good fun there. possibly ran a little bit longer than we wanted it to. We want to try and get it done in like an hour and five at the most. I think it went for about an hour and 15 and 20. So probably next year I'll reduce that to 6 rounds for the guys and 4 rounds for the girls, and that'll neatly fill in at around an hour. And the audience, of course, um, had a very fun time filling out their forms and groaning at the end when they go through the answers and realize the ones that they didn't get right. So that was good. And
All the tech track sessions were really great, informative. The speakers were great. We had some great music from Joel. I'm sure Joel will tell us a little bit more about that, his feelings about how his exhibit and how his talks went. That'd be great to hear. So yeah, that's about
yeah,
all I had.
just before I start going around the table, Pete, was I can't recall, was the discussion about keeping the same weekend at for 2026 as this year, or are we seriously looking forward to putting it back a couple weeks, even if we stay at the current place?
I think it's going to be probably a week later, first
Yeah.
week in October. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right then. So yeah, I'm going to go around the table and everyone can tell me what they've been doing. If you've been doing nothing, just say that. Just say I haven't done much, and I'll move on to the next one. We're always just glad to have you here. If people could set all their mobile phones to silent, and if they could refrain from using bad language, I'm the only one who's allowed to use bad language here because I'm from Australia. We will start with Joel Hilliard, who did a fantastic three-set performance of down poly at Tandy Assembly. How you doing, Joel? You're muted. Yeah.
I got multiple buttons here. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you
Cool.
have the floor.
Awesome. Yeah. No, it was great. I had a really fun time getting to drive up there and show all this off. So, yeah. I don't have much going on. I'm trying to work on a live set tonight for the Bitscape. There's a Bitscape production going on with multiple musical acts, and he's included me. So I get an hour, I think, to show all this off, do all the songs. I'm gonna add a bunch of songs. I'm gonna try to add 2 more songs to the set that I did at Tandy Assembly, and try to make it something worth watching, right, and listening to. But
In for
yeah,
an hour-long set, are you, Joel?
I think that's what he said. I gotta go back and double check, but it's either 30 minutes or an hour. I'm pretty sure it's an hour, and I was like, I don't think I can come up with an hour, but I think I've got an hour's worth of content now.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
What,
awesome.
what does that show, Joe?
The Bitscape. Let's see if I can pull it up. But it's a lot of Commodore, Amiga, chip tune stuff, it looks like, from what I can tell. CRX 2025. But yeah, it's a Bitscape production. It's kind of like a live show. Each artist will get about a slot. Each artist will get a slot for about an hour or so to get to show off their music and stuff. So I'm putting
That's
together a live set, and yeah, gonna show off the TRS-80. He's gonna bring that into the scene because he was like, yeah, there's nobody representing Tandy or TRS-80, so time to
cool.
bring and represent.
Very cool.
But yeah, it was fun getting to come up there, getting to see it. Wendy had a great time, so we hope to get back next year, come back with something stronger.
Hey, Matt, we can't hear you.
Fun meeting Wendy and having the trivia game. Did she? I saw you guys with the camera recording it. So did you guys got copies of that, or
I don't know if she got the trivia or not. I know she recorded my performance with her tripod, which was really cool. I wanted to be able to have our own copy of it, but I don't know if she got the I don't know if she got the trivia or not. But we'll see. I'll have to check with her. I know she recorded quite a bit, so.
yeah? I forgot to talk to her about whether she thought my question about when was the last performance of Down Polly was a trick question or not, because Sandy said she thought that was a bit of a trick question, but I mean the answer was 4 hours ago, not BCF Southwest, and I rewatched it, and she sort of has a big confused look on her face when I say incorrect. So that was
she had a good time. She had a good
yeah.
time.
I'm glad to hear that. All right. So perhaps next time we're here, you can tell us or give us some links to this performance you're doing next.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I have a link to share, absolutely.
Cool. All right then. Good on you, Joel. Let's see who's next. Let's go to Jay Newith. Jay, thanks for joining us. You
How you
recovered from
doing?
Tandy Assembly?
Oh, yeah. It was
Yep.
a good time. I was successful in business. So, you know, and that's about it, really. Nothing else to report. It was a
You
pleasure
keeping
taking,
well?
huh?
You keeping well, buddy?
I'm trying. I'm getting older and the walking is my problem right now. I have a tough time walking. So,
Okay.
you just got to be slow and careful. That's all.
Yeah, I hear I got that to look forward to as well one day. So
You know. But
yeah,
other than that, there's really nothing to report.
cool. Thanks for joining us. Always good to see you here.
Is it
Yeah.
just me, or once you hit your like mid-50s, everything hurts?
Not really. I mean, I know people who were much older than me. I mean, actually younger than me that looked older and were suffering more. I've knock on wood. Um, I've had good health, but now it's just starting to take its its toll. You just don't have the mobility you used to have. So
Yeah. It's
gotta
your
keep
teeth you got to look after, Pete. It's your teeth. I
yeah.
I've looked after mine, but in 8 days' time, I'm getting a root canal and a crown put on one of them that's worn out. So I got you got to look after those bastards, otherwise they'll
Yeah.
cost
Well,
you a
I,
fortune.
the thing is, you go to a cosmetic dentistry place, and the prices they want for the things, saying I'd rather have the space than because the money's outrageous. I
I
think
haven't
it's
got I haven't got to that point yet, but my dad's in the same boat. He's had so many bad teeth, he just got used to having the gaps there.
yeah, the one
Yeah.
tooth I think was going to be like $6,000. I can't
What?
justify it. Yep,
That's
six thousand
absurd.
dollars. Of course, that was one place. I didn't go to a lot of different places, but you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
you just gotta go with the flow.
Yeah. Good on you, Jay. Thanks for joining us as
Sure.
always. Blair Robbins, long time no see. How you doing, buddy? We missed you this year.
Yeah, hi there. It's nice to see you and to see everybody. Um, uh, I'm really sorry that I was unable to attend Tandy Assembly, but due to a series of personal events and health issues, I just was unable to. But I have had a chance to look at the videos on YouTube, and I'm here listening to the descriptions from all of you guys, and it's the next best thing. So thank you so much.
And I just want you to know I was your personal chauffeur for Mr. Maverick this year. Since you
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. That's good.
yeah,
yeah,
we you needn't worry, Blair. We had a system worked out and it worked perfectly.
sure did.
Jay picked me up at Columbus. We had a great show and weekend. He dropped us back off at Columbus, and we even
Went to
in
the
your
records, went to the
in your
record
honor
store.
stopped at Benihana and the record store, and
Yeah.
on the way back
Oh,
to
that sounds absolutely delightful. Was Jordan with you again this year?
Geordie.
Yeah.
Yeah, Geordie was with us, and he
Back,
was
I
yeah.
don't want to be embarrassing, but he said I want Jay to do it next year.
Yeah.
Well, that's quite all right, and I'm glad. It sounds like you had a wonderful time.
We
Yeah,
did. We got
yeah, we
everything done.
did.
It worked out. It worked out great. So
Yeah,
Yeah,
perfect.
yeah.
we missed you, Blair.
Yeah, but
Oh,
we did miss
well,
you.
thank you so much. I missed everybody as well. It's nice to see you all right now.
You're looking good, Jay. Are you look feeling like you'll be able to come back to 26, you reckon? Or
Are you asking? I just heard you say you're looking good, Jay. Are you asking
I
Jay,
said,
or are you
I said,
sorry,
asking
you
me?
met you.
asking you, Blair.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, it's still a little bit too early to tell. I certainly want to go. I've
Yep.
always enjoyed attending, and I've attended every year except for this year. So it is my intention to try. So I will hopefully be able to see everybody in person.
Okay.
Good on you. We look forward to it. I hope you get well soon, buddy.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for joining the show. All right. Moving right along, let's talk to Ira. Ira, I haven't seen you for a while. What have you been up to, mate?
turn on the audio. Just going through life. On the,
I,
on the TRS-80 side, I've just been using AI hard to try to make the site a little better and cleaner, and I think I'm pretty much done. And that also involves going through and trying to update every link that's out there, and if there's later versions I didn't know about, get them all posted. But otherwise, not much stuff has been coming in. I can't say the last time any discs came in, and so there isn't really new material, just information.
yeah, people like me who are really thing about websites and stuff changing. It's sort of the changing face of your website. When I click on it, it's just like, okay, it's changed again. Now I've got to reorient myself. But it looks like it's getting better and by the day. So I'm glad someone's finally found a use for AI.
What I'm trying to do is, it was originally just Notepad and Netscape, and then Google started complaining when things weren't responsive. And so I moved over to WordPress, which, in trying to fix the late Matthew Reed stuff to get it transitioned over when his was WordPress, I realized if you don't need to be on WordPress, don't be on WordPress. And so, because most of the site, or almost all the site, I've written in HTML anyway, and I've written the CSS anyway, and it's all there. And it was just basically being burdened by WordPress. I just converted it over to be just a regular old set of web pages again, Notepad and Netscape, and got a lot more real estate, by the way. Not everything's being squashed into this 800 column thing. So I think it's a lot more readable, but yeah, it's a little jarring. But I'm open for anybody's suggestions and anybody's design and any updates. I'm more than happy to make them.
You're doing God's work, Ira. So, I'm glad that website's there. I refer to it regularly when I'm looking for vintage software or information about it. It's quicker than pulling up old magazines or things out of archive.org. So everything has its place, and yours has a particularly special place. So
If anybody would be willing to write up a page on the GoTech and the Fred, especially like a how-to and a beginner's guide and step-by-step, I'm more than happy to throw it up there. I'm seeing a lot of questions, all over on Facebook and so on about these things. And, I don't mind hosting you bought this thing from this place. Okay, go to this website, download this, click this button kind of thing. It's just I own neither. And so I can't really come up with it.
I'm going to have to go down that path and write something like that one of these days because I'll need content. I don't know whether you were here before, but I got a freelance writing job with the new Computes Gazette
Yes,
magazine.
I saw.
So I'll be looking for interesting content to put there. So it seems like that's a pretty popular combination on their TRS-80, the GoTech with the Fred in the one system. So I'll compile all that into something and write it up. So cool. Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Ira. It's always good to see you here.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Moving right along. Let's talk to Tim Halloran. Hey, mate.
Hello, it's good to see everyone. For those that were at Tandy Assembly, that was a fun weekend, and for those that weren't, it's good to see everybody again. Not a whole lot since I left Tandy Assembly. I've been actually pretty busy at work, but I did sort of recently get back into before Tandy Assembly. I found a problem with TRS-80 GP with FMG CPM because I was prepping for FMG. So nicely, Peter was working to fix it, so I've been getting ready to do some more tests. I don't know if you can see the Model 1 is all ripped apart and hooked up to the oscilloscope, so we're doing some studies of what the actual hardware does to see what's going on. But it was not formatting disks right, so we're looking into it. But that's about it. It's just nice to see everyone, and I hope everybody stays well.
It's so cool that you could join us, Tim. the new that new Coco floppy controller I was talking about, it actually is it fits perfectly into your design of this guy here. And all I need to do is make a little hole in the side there for the switch to come out. And these things are brilliant. I like how they go together without even any screws or anything. They just snap together and hold together. So nice work on that design. Okay. Nick Marentes from
Hello, everyone.
Queensland.
Yes.
How you doing?
Not too bad. A
Good to
fellow
have you.
Australian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Tell us what you've been doing. I see Pinball got released.
Yeah, well, yes, actually. I mean, I think the last time I came on the show, I was talking about it, that I was doing a pinball game for the Color Computer 3. Well, I have finished it, so it is released. And I guess what I could try and do, and see if I can just play a bit of a video I did of it, so you can see what the final software comes up. So I'll just try and share a screen if I don't muck it up, and share sound. Okay, so is that coming up?
Yep.
All right, well, I've started up a itch.io web page for all my software, and this is pinballs on there, and where you can download and purchase the final product. It's got instructions on how to play it and a couple of screenshots. And I've got a little demo video I made up. So the game itself is for a Color Computer 3, and you require 512K of RAM. It's not much more to say. It's just it's a pinball machine. So I'll just play the video. Picture's worth a million words. So let's see how I go. I will try and enlarge it. All right. Is that come up full screen?
Yep.
All right. And the sound?
Yep.
All right. So it's based. Well, I've tried to model it on a old style pinball. It's not one of these new fancy modern pinball machines that we see nowadays, of course. I tried to make it look like something from the 50s, 60s, 70s, that type of era. So the more basic type of pinball. And as you can see, it's got a few little gadgets and stuff. It's not based on any particular machine. I just sort of just put the things together myself. And the physics, of course, is the most complicated thing to do. And considering when it comes to calculating the actual physics, it's not really my forte. So I had to come up with ways of doing it that didn't require, well, almost any mathematics for that matter. And the end result isn't too bad. It's not perfect. There's a few weird ball bounces and stuff, but I figure it looks fun, so I went with that. A few gadgets. There's a gadget in the middle called the magnetron. You will see it turn on later on when I finally activate it. So to activate that magnetron, you've got to hit all those bumpers on the left to activate the magnetron in the middle. When you do, anything that, if the ball moves it within that magnetron, it gets magnetically attracted to it. So it's got like a magnetic field that swirls around, and the ball goes in predictable directions. But you do get all points on the table get multiplied by 2. So it's got benefits in turning it on. And the usual other thing that you find in pinball machines, little buttons and bumpers and things. And of course, the ball goes down the middle like it did just then, just like a real one. So this is all written in machine language, 6809 machine language. There's the magnetron in the middle. And you'll see a point where the ball go. There we go. It slowed it down and threw it in weird directions, and it just happened to throw it out the side.
Game over.
Okay. And that's it. I'll just stop the share. So yeah, the game's finished now. So now I just sell it, basically, make up for the last 8 months of my life.
Was that your voice saying game over at the end?
No, I grabbed it. There's a voice thing I found on the internet. I thought, yeah, I like something robotic.
Hey, Nick, does the Coco 3 have sprites or?
No, it
No.
doesn't have sprites. It doesn't even have a sound chip. So, yeah, it's a bit of work to make it do stuff like that. But I've gotten used to it over the years. So
The sounds were pretty good. Are that all
sound
done with?
genuine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, is that all done with the just the built-in sound capabilities, not the?
Just the normal DAC. So it
Okay.
uses sound samples. So they're
Yep.
they're actual recordings from a real machine, and
Yeah.
it digitally has them sampled in memory. And then, of course, during gameplay, it just triggers it and just plays a sound using an interrupt-driven sound routine that I've written. But it sounds well. They're real sounds. They're not actually synthesized. It is playing back real sounds. So I did want to make it sound like a real machine as best I could.
It seemed to have good bass. It seemed to have good bass reproduction. So at least that's what it sounded like on my speakers. So yeah,
It's not bad. Yeah, it seems to work all right. So
yeah, that's cool.
I'm happy with the
128K or
results.
512K?
512, yeah.
It needs a
You can't-
512K in your
You can't
Coco.
do much with 128K.
Okay, is that where the sound effects are stored and things like that?
Yeah. By the time you have a high res graphics screen with 16 colors there, and in my case in pinball, it's actually a double height screen. So the RAM alone is almost 64K of RAM just for the video display. So you've got 64K gone for that. Then you've got sound samples, and of course they take up a whole lot of RAM as well. So yeah, 128K is not possible. You'd have to cut out things.
That's
And
okay.
besides, I figure a 512K color computer 3 is pretty well the standard nowadays.
It's pretty normal and cheap to upgrade to 512. So
Yes.
yeah, that's
Plug in.
anyone who's messing around with them is has probably got a 512. But yeah, no, that's so cool, Nick. I'm glad you could join us. Is there anything else you wanted to mention while you're here?
That's all. No, that's all I've done really. I'm just at the end of this project.
Good. I hope you recover at least 10% of your man hours you spent
Get something.
writing this thing.
It took longer than what I originally had planned, because it was sort of an area which I'm not very familiar with, doing all the maths and not only that, because it's a very analog type of a game. I was really dealing with a lot of analog things to get the ball bouncing off things correctly and all that. So it was just more work than I thought it was going to be at the start. So it took me a bit longer. So I'm glad it's over.
Well, it came out well. I mean, in the Model 1, as I'm sure you, because as everyone knows, you started out with the Model 1. Among the first sort of popular games that came out for them were these really crappy pinball emulations.
Paddle pinball. I remember that.
Yeah, and they were small in size. They did the job, but yeah, physics left a little bit to be
Yeah.
desired
That's
in them.
right. Yeah.
But yeah,
For a
they,
pinball game, yeah, you need the physics to make it look right.
yeah. No, that's cool. All right, thanks for joining us, Nick. That's always
No
great
worries,
when
yeah.
you can join us. Let's talk to Dusty. Thanks for staying up so late for us, Dusty.
That's okay, guys. Can you hear me all right? Sorry
Yep.
I was late. You haven't put your clocks back yet, have you?
Tomorrow night.
Weeks ago,
There you go.
ours
Do-
changed.
Do they go at the hour this weekend?
This
Yeah,
week,
in the United States, we roll back Sunday 1 hour.
Yeah. Well, we, in the true British tradition of being different to everybody else, we put ours back last weekend. But there's chaos in here at the minute. It's what we call bonfire night. About 300 years ago, some bloke took a fistful of barrels of gunpowder to the Houses of Parliament, tried to blow it up. And we celebrate that every year with a big bonfire and fireworks. Of course, it's all been spoilt now because of health and safety. You can't do this. You've got to stand behind barriers. You can't light a firework if you're under 14. And anyway,
Become a rock concert. Now it's just a cigarette light. Stand there with a cigarette lighter like you did at a Metallica concert. That's all you can do.
No. But yeah, things are getting ready. I've got a couple of articles from Vince for the December edition of TRS 8-bit. Always room for anybody sending in anything else. I'm hoping Mav will do a quick review of the TA. Absolutely a super event by the looks of it. I felt most envious of sitting here watching you all. But it went very well by the looks of it, I think, didn't it?
Yeah. I'll be doing my yearly report of the Tandy Assembly in the next one. So yeah, and I've got some ideas for some articles. So yeah, look forward to that one. We've got a month to go. Basically, I think that's about right. Yep. So any news on the competition? Did we run one this year?
I don't know, George. I've not heard from George.
Yeah, we had one last minute entry. I haven't even had a chance to tell you about it.
Well, you can tell us about it when I get round to you next, okay, George?
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, good. So yeah,
it was a very, very difficult competition. Just for fun, I tried all the deep sea chat GPT, and everyone came up with, "Oh, you'll need a very complex algorithm to do this." And I thought, yeah, we know. We want help with I do. I wanted help with this complex algorithm. But the strange thing was they all just tried the sort of mechanical way of going through things. Chat GPT didn't find the answer. DeepSeek found the answer, but didn't recognize it was the correct answer and carried on looking. So it was a bit pathetic, really, but I'd be interested to see what it's like, George, the one and only entry.
that's the best type of win by default. I think Homer Simpson said that once. So yeah. Well, we've still got a little bit of time if people want to enter the thing. So you never know, you might get another.
I think it closes. Where are we now? Because it's Sunday here, so it actually closes tonight, the competition date. But I mean, if anybody's very close to cracking it, for heaven's sake, send it in to George.
Yeah, cool.
Okay, guys.
No worries. What time is it there, Dusty?
Oh, it's about 1:40 hours.
Oh, it's better than 3:40, which is what it is sometimes when you're waiting for us.
Oh, yeah. It's, as I say, you're an hour earlier than them. I'd set my alarm for 2:00 in the morning, or 1:45, and I suddenly woke up and I thought, I wonder if I'm this missing hour. I think we had it last year, the same problem. There we go. No problem.
Yeah. I had a great return from Tandy Assembly. Apart from being jet lagged, I arrived on the Wednesday, and then on the Saturday, 3 days later, we had a daylight savings change, so I've kind of been knocked around ever since I got back. But back to
Yeah, 'cause
back to normal here now.
You're just coming up to summer now, aren't you?
Yeah, yeah. It was it's 30 here today. It's about yeah, I know. For you Brits, 30 is just
Oh,
shorts
yeah.
and t-shirt weather. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah. All right, Justy.
Okay,
Always
guys.
good to have you here. George.
Hey there.
Hey there.
So not too much to report. I've been trying to get the latest version of TRS-80 GP out the door, but been kind of like one more little thing to add to it going on, but should have that ready for the end of the month. And as I was saying, I hadn't seen any entries in the TRIS 8-bit contest, and then poof, like on Halloween, one popped in, and I say I haven't even had a chance to look at it yet, but I think they have a good chance of winning.
Oh, that's awesome. Yep. And speaking of TRIS 8-bit, that was I had a question. In a backward sort of capacity. So I was talking to someone. I was talking to Thomas McLaren at Tandy Assembly about producing. He and some guys had this idea about how would you go about producing a TRS-80 reproduced like the Commodore 64 Maxi or the next the Spectrum, one of those. It looks like a TRS-80, but it's got modern guts in it. You know the type of machine I'm talking about, George? Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I was wondering how would we achieve that? And I said the easiest way and the most functional way would be not to have like a Raspberry Pi or a small computer of that ilk in it, but have built into it like a small Atom or Intel NUC, and that's spelled NUC type computer running TRIS 8-bit, and then all you need is a 3D printed case of a Model 1 and a full keyboard. It plugs into HDMI, and there you've got the TRS-80. It emulates absolutely everything, and it will it looks like a TRS-80, and you just tell it when you turn it on which model you want to run, and off it runs. Would you reckon that TRIS 8-bit would be happy in an environment like that?
Yeah, it could work out. I mean, it would work out well enough on even like a Raspberry Pi type hardware. So that's usually what these units are, is that they're just a small PCB that's got, some kind of ARM processor on it. I guess some of the fancier ones use FPGA, which is it's better power consumption, but practically speaking, it's more difficult. I
Yeah,
don't know what these guys do about the IP rights of things, right? Like,
that's my question. But obviously, there must be some precedent for bringing it back without using the actual name, but making the product as like a tribute to the original product. Just like the Commodore 64 Maxi is not called that; it's called the 64 Maxi Edition, and
right.
the VIC 20. I think, have you got one, Peter Zatinsky? The VIC, is that what it's called?
VIC 20?
Yeah, the reproduction one that came out like a year or two ago.
I don't have the repro.
Okay, yeah.
But wasn't there just a group that bought the rights to the Commodore name and the Commodore IP? I think I read about it in one of those computers.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
That's happened
Commodore
earlier.
game.
That happened earlier this year, but another group had released a Commodore 64 and a VIC 20 as a tribute machine. Previous to this happening. So, but I mean, there's tribute machines for there's ZX Spectrum, the Atari 400. There's been Atari 2600 retro things for forever. So there must be some, precedent for it. And I think they're gaining in popularity. If someone wants to find a link to the Commodore 64 one on Amazon and put it in the chat here, that would put everyone. Does anyone here know what I'm talking about, or does everyone not know what the hell
Yeah,
I'm
I think
talking
it's
about?
called the Ultimate 64. There's
Okay.
actually quite a few. It's not. There's several
Yeah.
Commodore 64 remakes, but there is the official one now from the now official Commodore,
Yeah.
and I think it's based on one called the Ultimate 64.
Okay. Yeah. So I bought the 64, what they call the Maxi, which is the second one. So they made one that was tiny and it had a little keyboard that didn't work. Then they produced a full size Commodore 64. It looks and feels like a Commodore 64. In fact, if you got a lay person to sit next to each other and say which one is which, a few of them would be confused. It's that close to the Commodore 64. But inside them, they both have the tiny circuit board which does all the work. And so in the Maxi, it's mainly wasted space. But these have turned out to be surprisingly popular, and you can still get them. And even the box that they came in looks like the original C64 distribution boxes. So they do it very thorough in terms of a product. So I will be hopefully, if anyone's got Thomas McLaren's contact details, I wouldn't mind them, because he's actually been harder to find online than I thought. But he does want to work with me on this.
I have his info. I can get it to you. I think
Okay.
the problem we would have with the TRS-80, if you actually wanted to call it like the TRS-80s, is figuring out who owns the IP rights of the Tandy computer platform, right? We think it's Samsung, but
Yeah.
I don't think Samsung even knows that they own it.
It wouldn't be the TRS-80. It would be the TRS or the Right Stuff computer or something like that. It wouldn't actually have the TRS-80 name in its name, because none of these other ones, like the 400, is what they call the Atari 400 retro machine. And so, but yeah, once you start looking online at all these recreations of retro computers, you see there's rather a lot of them, and they're quite inventive with the name. Like I think the Atari 2600 product is called the 2600 Flashback. There's no Atari in the name, and so on. So
yeah, there is a in the UK. I've seen that advertised on the net. The new Sinclair Spectrum, but it's a whole new keyboard, a whole new case and keyboard with a flash design down the side. But it was relatively expensive, about £300. What's that? About $450, something like that. The innards are modern equipment, really sort of modern pieces inside it. But the TRS-80 GP runs fine on the Pi 400. I borrowed a year or so ago now. I borrowed my granddaughter's Pi 400 and contacted George, and he said, yeah, it would work. And I had no trouble running it on the Pi 400, but that's gone. It's been returned home, and I'm just on my ordinary PC with TRS-80 GP, which 99% of the time it's the Model 1 with the floppy tape. Thanks, George. And Peter, of course. Yeah.
Cool. Okay, then. So that's something for us all to think about there. Okay, Peter Phillips.
I have one comment in that regard.
Oh,
Can I
yeah.
make one comment in that regard?
Yes, you can. Go.
Okay. So here, the ultimate C64, right? I mean, I think the question you've got to ask yourself is what level of emulation or recreation do you want, right? So because the cheaper ones, basically like the C64, the Maxi, you called it, right, and the Mini, those were basically software emulations, right? And for example, they lack the original ports, right? So if you want to connect the original hardware, for example, then I think, and that is really the big thing with the new Ultimate C64, right? That you can, it's actually an FPGA-based recreation, and it has the original expansion ports, etc., right? So you can actually connect the real hardware to this. So in that regard, it's like, you know, Arno's and here Matthew Boyton's, right? Twist IO++ thing, right? So, and I mean, the FPGA thing is, I think, in general, more highly regarded as the true recreation, whereas, I mean, software emulators, I mean, some people don't like that too much, so to speak, right? So that's my 2 cents.
Yeah, look, thanks for mentioning that. And that's an interesting point. Yeah. So the Mini and Maxi 64 has no ports other than a couple of USB. So you can add software to it via the USB ports some way or other. I've never done it, but you can't connect a 1541 disk drive or plug in Commodore 64 cartridges and run them. But it does have a large library of software, all the popular games at the time built into it. So it's I'd have to talk to Thomas about this, about to what extent he'd want expansion or connectability to it. But I think for a version 1, I'm just thinking of something that looks like a TRS-80. You turn it on and it goes straight into TRS-GP, and you just choose from a menu which model you want to run, whether it's a MC10 or a Model 6000. You just click the button, and there you've got your machine to mess around with. So that's what I was thinking of as for a beta version of a thing to start out with. Okay, since we had Michael there, good to see you. Do you want to quickly tell us what else you've been up to?
Oh, hi, yeah, sure. I mean, not too much. So first of all, I really enjoyed Sandy Assembly, even though I couldn't attend in person. So thanks to you guys to live stream this. This was really fun. So I was watching all of it from here in California. And yeah, no, other than that, didn't do too much in October, but I always try to have a TRS-80 project in September for Septendi, right? I mean, it's stupid, but hey. So I had this memory expansion, right? And you might have seen that on Discord. I've been active then in September. So we have a 512 kilobytes memory expansion for the Model 1 and the Model 3, and also got great help from many folks, you know, on the Discord, especially from the guy who made the Model 1K motherboard. What's his name? Mark Pruden, right? Yeah. So he helped with doing the decoding, because originally I only wanted, you know, extra memory so that I can play back large MIDI files basically from RAM, right? And then I started presenting this on the Discord, and then I think Mark said, "Hey, is it Superman compatible?" And I never heard of Superman before, right? So, and then you also chimed in, Matt, and told me about it, and that you even also had a kit at some point, and it wasn't popular because you have to piggyback all these RAM chips and all that, right? And so, yeah. So this one is now XMEM80. It's a minimally invasive memory expansion, and for the Model 1, you just plug it onto the expansion port, right? Doesn't require any modifications, and so it adds 512 kilobytes of page memory. Either you can have 32 16 kilobyte pages, right? And you can individually select the upper and lower 32 kilobytes with registers, or you can have the Supermem kind of 32 kilobyte pages, and then you have 16 of those. And then for the Model 3, it's basically a CPU board plug-in. So you have to open it up and remove the RF field, but that's the only modification. And yeah, so nothing needs to be modified or no trace cuts or anything, just plug and play. Yeah, so that's that. And yeah, for now I'm just enjoying the TRS-80s and playing games with them and things like that. And then I also want to still work on the MIDI tracker, and the MIDI sync, given that Joel is on the call, right? So I haven't forgotten that. So maybe I get to this start of next year. So, but for now I have a bit of a TRS-80 break. So thanks for having me, and good seeing you all.
Michael, thanks for joining us. Anyone got any questions for Michael or nope? Okay. Peter Phillips.
Hello.
Hey, mate.
I'll add to another person who enjoyed Tandy Assembly remotely, seeing the video streams. They're well done. I guess actually if there's only one comment, it'd be great that questions get repeated because they usually don't get picked up. But otherwise, it was a fantastic presentations to watch. Intriguing stuff.
Questions get repeated. You mean like in the game or just in general?
Mostly in the tech talks, because when they're recorded, it's like, yeah, you usually can figure out what was asked, but it's good to
during
know.
the Q&A, we need to remember to reinforce the people to repeat.
Okay. Yeah.
But otherwise, like, the video was right there. It was like, it was great. I'm just going to share my screen. I've been up to about 3 things. Everybody see that?
Yep.
Okay. Well, the first is, sadly that Matthew Reed passed away, but he was generous enough to leave not only the websites, but he left 3 archives of software. I've been trying to get that going. The first is the basic TRS-80 tools in the Windows version. So this one is almost ready to go. I got it to recompile. So this is just this is TRIS tools, the UI recompiled. So it all functions the same as far as I've been able to test it. You can review basic programs and such. And it has features that I didn't really realize, but it's good enough with drag and drop that you can drag and drop these things straight into Discord if you want, which is quite clever. I would like to get this up on GitHub once I get my act together. The second archive is something he'd been working on, which is a portable version of TRIS tools. Now I've got the Linux version to compile and the Windows version. I haven't got the Mac going, but this is Linux under Windows, but this is TRIS tools, and this is like a GTK app. Technically, it uses WX widgets, and it works pretty much the same. Whoops. And the previews and things seem to work, the maze program. Whoops. We can bring up. Ooh, there we go. The drag and drop is still broken, and I have to figure that out, and I have to get this to compile on the Mac, but I think I may just upload it to GitHub with the caveat that the graphical parts aren't working yet. It also included a test suite, so I was able to verify that. There's a third archive, and I'll upload it, which is actually the TRS-32 emulator. The problem is that substantial parts of it are written in 8088 assembler, and it required a very particular C compiler. So that definitely will be, I guess, historical. Like, here's the archive, but it will take some work to get it done. And the second thing was, this is what Tim was talking about, which is that a certain version of CPM couldn't format a disk. Now let's show you quickly. This is what Tim saw. You can boot up the TPM, run format, and then pick the drive. And this is actually what happens on the real TRS-80, is that it actually functions. And then this is what TRS-80 GP was doing. Now this gets into a little bit of a short technical dive here. So what will happen is it formats track 0 and then stops. And we thought it was a disk drive, but if you go into the debugger and stop it, if you step, you see that you're in a loop. We go to 4012, the interrupt routine, enable interrupts and return, and then we're back to this little indication here is the emulator saying, we're going to take an interrupt. So we take the interrupt. Basically, we're in a continuous loop of taking interrupts. Now, otherwise, the CPM functions just fine on the emulator. So Tim ran a bunch of test programs and we fiddled around with this and we couldn't really quite understand what was going on until it occurred to me that the problem is that interrupt mode 0 is being used. The Z80 is complicated. It has 3 different ways to respond to interrupts. You can change it in software, but all of them require some kind of hardware support. And the original TRS-80 starts out in interrupt mode 0, which is compatible with the 8080, but it doesn't really have hardware to implement it. So in the emulator, we just assumed that the Z80 would get the interrupt. It wouldn't really get anything useful on the bus, which usually it's looking for an instruction to run, and it would just end up in deep space or crash. But after a lot of experimenting, we found that it appears that the Model 1 doesn't respond, or rather it does handle mode 0 interrupts by somehow ignoring them. And what Tim was talking about is trying to figure out maybe what exactly it does. Let's see if I have it here. Oh, here it is. I did find that the Model 1 technical handbook does say, when talking about interrupts, that there are 3 modes of operation. And the first, this line is ignored, which is interesting. That seems to be the effect. I don't think you could ignore the interrupt line, but the best guess is that the way the hardware is set up was that when the interrupt happens, the Z80 reads a NOP instruction and then just continues. And after doing that, the interrupts will be disabled and it won't be much bother for it anymore. But that was the problem, that the disk formatting routine between tracks, it disables the interrupts. And then at the end, it enables it. And that's where the emulator goes into the infinite loop of doing interrupts. So maybe with the logic analyzer, we'll be able to really see what's going on. Well, although I should say other people who know hardware have glanced at the schematics and said, oh yeah, it'll probably do the right thing. I'm not so certain. The third thing was just sort of fun. Maybe I should send this just to Ira. I can find it here. Someone on the Applesauce Discord, they found a disk that was meant for making copy protected versions of a game called Caesarian Siege. And I'll just run it here. But what the program does is you enter a date, a serial code, how many drives you have, and then the starting number. And what you have to do is, oops. You have to put in a master. So the master. And then if you hit enter, it has quite a nice fancy interface where it shows formatting the drive and then reading the master and copying it. And that's kind of cool because this is like TRS-80 software, which is doing the copy protection for IBM PC software. and I think it's because it puts extra gaps between the address markers and times those gaps. I don't think regular IBM PC hardware could do that. I can't really show you much more. The resulting disk can be converted and then run on MAME. And my contribution here was that the guy who found the disk realized that the image of the actual shipping game could be used as the master, but it wouldn't work because I think they designed it so that if somehow the program leaked, it wouldn't be able to copy the master. So fiddling around a bit in the debugger, I was able to figure out that where they put a couple traps in there, and we were able to recreate the master disk based on the shipping one. So now there's like I guess no limit to illegal pirating of this game now. And
Is the game any good?
no, I mean it I can try to run it actually. The problem with running it is that the IBM PC being kind of like the dull system it is, I haven't got the right entry here. I had a lot of trouble running it on the IBM PC emulator, and the reason is that if you have an original IBM PC with 640K of memory, you must wait about 2 to 3 minutes for it to test 640K of memory while the cursor just sits there flashing. It's like IBM priorities. If we run it 10 times faster, then we should get to the actual game. I guess the feature the game has is that it does have voice sound effects in it. But here we go. This one has a legitimate serial number that's running at 10 times speed, but if you hit play, yeah, this is at 10 times speed. But this is like classic CGA graphics. And it uses the shift key to fire so that this makes Windows think I need assistance. But yeah, I guess historically significant. But I'd never seen it before.
Yeah, that looked like all exciting for about 2 minutes.
Yeah, it's not bad, but it's, yeah.
Cool. Thanks for that, Peter. It's always good that you could join us. And that was very interesting. So all right. Just before we move on, so regular viewers of Trash Talk would know that about the 1 hour mark, we look at a magazine or book and talk about what was in it 40 years down the track and whether it was still relevant and things like that. We didn't do it this time. So for those who are waiting for that part, you'll have to wait till the next one. Sorry. Okay. Moving along. Craig Cole. Hey, mate. How's things in your world?
Busy. Let me see. First, I got a couple things going on, but first, my regrets. I didn't make it to Tandy Assembly. My life's been complicated, but I think my odds are much better for next one. So I'm looking forward to that. I did see the auction on YouTube, and that was very entertaining. So that was fun. Question about Compute Gazette. I bought the first issue, which you kind of had to buy on its own, and I got that. And that was really cool. Although I think there wasn't a ton of TRS-80 content yet. They were really celebrating the new 664, and that made sense. So, but the second issue, which I subscribed for, does anybody know when that's coming? I haven't seen that yet or anything. Has anybody seen the second issue?
I think they're up to issue 4 now, so you might want to contact James Nagel, I think his name is, directly. I've been talking to him. He's a friendly enough guy. Just check on the status of your subscription and make sure that you haven't got. Are you waiting on a printed copy or an electronic copy?
Printed. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I read somewhere that yeah, distribution to various parts of the country were slower or faster or slower than others. But yeah, get onto him just to explain what's happened and that you're still waiting on them.
Okay.
And,
Yeah, I didn't realize we were up to issue 4. So wow. Okay, I'm glad I asked.
Did you request the reprints?
The reprints?
Because they sold out the printed copies really fast. But they
Oh.
issued reprints. I got all 3 issues on reprints like a few
Oh,
months ago.
I just know that when I signed up, when I ordered the Compute Gazette, I signed up for the subscription almost at the same time, and I've just been waiting ever since. So
That sucks.
I don't know anything about reprints or anything else. I'll have to pursue that a little bit. So no, honestly, I really thought the second issue was still like not done yet. So I don't know. Anyway, so thanks for the tips on that. I'll have to chase that. So okay, so well, the easy one to talk about is I did make a neat acquisition, but I haven't seen it yet. On Facebook, somebody needed to get rid of a TRS-80 Model 2 in a hurry. And it turned out that this person who needed to get rid of it was 15 minutes from my brother's house in North Carolina. I'm out on the West Coast. So my brother did me a favor and he went and picked it up, and it's sitting in his garage right now waiting for us to figure out how to get it out to me. And I'm petrified to ship it. So we've been talking about alternative means to get it here. So it looks pretty rough. It looks like it's been in a wood shop sitting on a floor somewhere for a while. It's just covered in dirt, and it's pretty ugly. It's in one piece, but it looks terrible. So and it came with the big external drive bay, and the keyboard, which I understand is a real score to get a real Model 2 keyboard. So I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully, over the holidays when I catch up with my brother, I'll get a look at it firsthand. And then the other thing I'm working on, I've been working on this Model 1 for a while, and I've been a real pain to Ian here once or twice or 3 times, and he's been really awesome about it. And I was making a lot of progress. It's Model 1, the expansion interface, a couple disk drives. It's behind me here. And it was running really well. Double density adapter. I was cruising through a couple different operating systems, going through my old disks, which I had from way back in the day. I somehow lost track of the computer, but still had all my disks and software and stuff. So that's been kind of my goal, is to just get everything I had in a state where I could use it again. And I was getting to the point where I'm looking for new DOS, because that's one operating system I don't have. And I think a lot of my disks from back in the day were done in new DOS. But one of the things that's been annoying me is I've been using LDOS 531, and it expects the lowercase kit, or at least it seems to. And so I finally broke down. I hadn't even opened up the Model 1 case that I'd gotten. It's been working fine. The expansion interface has been apart a bunch of times. But this is the first time I took apart the Model 1. It looked like nobody had been in it before. It's a late Model 1. It was really easy to install the lowercase kit. The chip I needed to install, it was already socketed. So it was really easy for me to just swap it out and put the new one in, attach 2 wires, cut 1 trace, and it worked great. Got the lowercase working. I run the cassette driver. Everything's happy. But then I connect it back to the expansion interface, and it no longer wants to boot drives again. So I have no idea how a lowercase kit modification would do something like that. It could just be an awful coincidence that the bugs that were biting me before just came back. And I think it boiled down to, I had wrecked a bunch of disks and not known it, but I thought I was past that. So I don't know why these disks aren't working again. And I did make a bunch of disk copies, so I'm not out of disks yet. That should be good, and have not seen the disk drive since I did the upper lowercase modification. So I'm a little stuck on that one right now, but I broke down today and started looking at it again. I don't know if anybody has any advice in that arena. It was really a shock, because I was like, well, this stinks. The lowercase kit was awesome, but I have no idea why that might cause my expansion interface to suddenly stop working. And everybody's like, I could revert it. And I'm like, yeah, I could revert it, but it seems so impossible that that could be causing me a problem. I don't know if anybody has any thoughts on that, but that's what I'm up to.
I agree that I mean, theoretically, lowercase modification shouldn't affect disk operation.
Yeah,
It's not that sort of thing. The quick and dirty way to revert the lowercase is to pull out the double stack chips and just put a 2102 in, and then run a jump wire between where the trace cut was done.
Yeah.
And that'll allow you to sort of keep continuing as a capitals uppercase only system to see if that really is a problem. You don't even have to unsolder the two wires. Just leave the stacked chips
That's true. That's right. Yeah,
hanging around in the base of the computer. Yeah. The other thing that sounds more like it is what Ira and I call craptastic disk storage for the last 4 decades or 3 decades. And Ira, who does a lot of fantastic work with reading people's disks that they send to him to read, will tell you that some of them may look good, but the fungus and other crap on the surface of the disks may not look like anything in particular, but it will dump oxide on the heads of your disk drive, in a couple of rotations of the disk, and then give it will make a perfectly good running disk system seem like junk. And all you can really do then is to open the drive, clean the head of oxide, and make sure that, and then try again. But you might find that if the number of disks isn't in the hundreds, to just quickly ship them over to Ira for assessment and turning into DMK files, and then work backwards from there. You can get your favorite ones and turn them back on fresh floppy disks that are in a good workable condition. There are certain brands what were your favorite brands of floppy disk back in the day? Because the ones that I hated were CDC, Elephant, in fact, Radio Shack ones. Believe it or not, Radio Shack disks are among the for me anyway. Yeah.
I'm just flipping through here, and it's all over the place. I was not partial to any brand, actually. I see some Kodaks, I see Verbatims, I see TRS-80, of course, Radio Shack brand. But
I was an almost constant user of these Verbatim, Data Life and Value Life, and discs I was working with, in the 80s, I can still pull them out and they will run no problems. But other discs I've seen, like I said, there's certain brands there that just were very popular, probably due to their inexpense at the time, or their highfalutin warranties, like lifetime warranties or something. But I have never had a CDC or Elephant disc actually work that I put in the machine. They just I look at them and I go, there's no way this is gonna work, and it starts squealing, as soon as the squeal I'm talking about, Ira. I
haven't run into many of those, but it's scary when it happens.
Yeah, but
the problem.
So that again, Ira.
CDC, Shannon, magnetics. I put up a bunch of pictures on the reading of the discs that are, just don't send these to me, please. I have had one batch of CDCs that were actually fine. So maybe the right kind of storage, maybe just a little bit bad, threw those off. And yes, I'm seeing a lot more Radio Shack stuff going bad than I used to. I was a Rebecca person, and those hold.
Yeah, I'd still had some Radio Shack, the silvery ones, the silver and blue ones, which have single-sided on them. I still had some shrink-wrapped boxes of them, and a couple of years ago I needed some blanks, so I ripped them open and they shredded the minute I put them in, even though they'd been sealed in their shrink-wrapped since the mid-'80s. And so I've sort of warned people ever since. We love Radio Shack, but they definitely, when they bought their discs, they just contracted it out to whoever would make them for the cheapest for them. And so beware of using Radio Shack discs. So I can see a smile on Gary's face there because he worked for Radio Shack. that you might when we get to it, we might know something about Radio Shack's crappy discs before that we don't already know. All right, Craig.
Well, thank you.
But yeah, reach out to IRA and get your discs at least assessed before proceeding, thinking that your disk drives or your expansion interface are giving you problems. Okay.
Appreciate it.
Joining us.
Reach out to me, and these things. By the way, the more you try, the more you destroy.
Yeah. I've been very careful to not. There are certain discs I've not touched because I'm not confident I won't ruin them. There are some other ones that I've been pretty confident they've been okay. But yeah. No, I hear you. So yeah. I've resisted sending out my discs, but maybe I should. So
I'll send them back. I promise.
appreciate it.
Okay. Good on you, Craig. Thanks for joining us. Gary.
My pleasure.
It was fun meeting you at Tandy Assembly, Gary.
Oh, it was good to meet you too, but I have nothing to add.
Okay. Are you going to come back next year?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm already looking for Tandy people to put on the trivia game. So you're front row center at the moment. So don't be surprised if I come and tap you on the shoulder at Tandy Assembly next year.
Very, very good.
Very good. I thought that was a mic drop and a walk off. Thanks for joining us, mate. Good to see you. Malcolm Ramy, first time here or first time in a long time?
It's been a long time.
Been a long time. How you been, mate?
They're doing all right. Nothing much going on here. Still have the 3000 HD on the bench to repair. The hard drive failed, so I got to reinstall Xenix and probably put an emulator in it. I did pick up a Model 3, 4, and a really nice Model 2 in Atlanta, so I'll be checking those out and finding new homes for them. That's about it from here.
Yeah. Did you get anything at the auction? I can't remember. Normally you and Mowgli pick up like 50% by weight of the auction sales, but this year I think you're both a bit on the quiet side.
Yeah, I'm not sure I bought anything. I picked up a manual from a box of manuals that Thomas TJ, as he goes by, bought. So he had a manual in there that I wanted, so I got that from him.
Yeah.
Mowgli was a fairly prodigious purchaser this year again. Yeah, but Malcolm, the last few years you've tapered off. I understand that. There's only
his inbound section of his warehouse is pretty full. He needs to get more organized.
Mm.
So, and
how many of each thing can you have? Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a wide range of interests too. So
yeah, that was still good. It was still good. Cool, Malcolm. I'll catch up with you at a TA meeting sometime.
Yeah. Hopefully, I can remember this next one.
All that's important is that the team is that the person running the meeting remembers it. That's the important bit.
There you go.
Wink, wink, wink. If you're watching, Randy. All right. So we're coming up to the last few people. We've got Alex Kress. How you going, mate?
Yeah, hi. Let's see if
you're new here.
Yeah, this is the first time.
This is your first time. All right. So normally I would ask at the beginning if there's any new people to tell us about itself. But so I appreciate your patience in waiting around for us. So if you want to give us a quick rundown, doesn't have to be very long or detailed, about your history with TRS-80s and what you're doing these days.
Sure. Yeah, no, actually, I had a few things I thought people would be interested in given what I heard other people talk about. So I thought I'd share. Basically, I attended the Vintage Computer Festival in Mountain View in August with Marcel, which I guess folks here kind of know Marcel. He's the hardware guy. He basically shared his booth with me, and I said I could be the software guy. I saw him the previous year, and then I got a hold of him, and we kind of coordinated meeting there. And basically, I've wrote programs and sold them to a company called C-Load Magazine way back in the late 70s, early 80s, because they were in Santa Barbara. I lived in Santa Barbara. I was a teenager, I don't know, 16, 17 years old or something like that. And I kind of bought a TRS-80 Model 1. It was really cool. Then I when I sold the games, of course, I bought more computer hardware. That's just how everything goes. But about 3 months ago, I started a YouTube channel about electronics and things. So when I met Marcel, I decided to just start doing TRS-80 videos. And if anybody's interested, I have about 16 videos, and I guess Ira dropped off, I see on his thing, but he was asking about the GoTech. I kind of have like a 6 or 7 minute video where I kind of walk through the steps of what I did to get the GoTech working on my TRS-80 Model 1 with the expansion interface. I thought people might be interested in that. I had a great time at the Vintage Computer Festival because I found a lot of people were asking interesting questions, some of them a lot younger, and things like that. And Marcel is great. I just can't tell you. He saved my bacon. My TRS-80 Model 1 is the original that I bought back in like 1979. It kind of went kaput, and he had all the parts, so he could build one on the fly and hook it up to my expansion interface and demo. I was demoing a program I'd written way back when called Stars. Which is just this little thing where you write. It's kind of, everybody says like Frogger. Anyways, little ships you move up and down. It's a 2-player game if you want. You try to make laps in like 90 seconds and things like that. And so I really got back into it because all these people here, I heard people mention the TRS-80 GP. I use that on my Mac. The TRS-80 tools or TRS tools, I've used that. All you guys who ever made these, I really appreciate all the the work and effort you've all done, because it makes life so much easier now. Like, I got back into assembly language programming, and I'm modifying Little Stars game. I decided to add an auto mode where the ship kind of navigates on its own based on the collision things. And I found that was really fun to do. I mean, it's work, but I'm doing it just for fun, not for trying to make any money or anything like that. But it's really neat to be part of this group, and I really feel a lot of people have the same reality and working with a Radio Shack computer and things like that. And Marcel's really great on the hardware things. If you have hardware questions or problems on Discord, you can send him messages. Very helpful. And I've learned a few things too. My TRS-80, the voltages went out. We changed some of the chips. One of the power transistors went out. I'm an amateur on the hardware stuff. I'm certainly not as expert as a lot of you folks, but I get along. I have an electrical engineering degree, but I mostly do software. But anyway, if anybody's curious, I'll paste my channel thing in the chat if people are curious to watch any of those videos or whatnot. And that's about it from me. And thanks for inviting me. I found out about this meeting literally 30 minutes before it showed up on Discord. It's like, oh, I can make that. So I'm glad it was advertised.
That's great. Thanks for joining us, Alex. I love the memory you brought up there of C-Load magazine. For those who don't remember, so C-Load magazine was a magazine on tape. So every month, a cassette tape. It often had in the beginning, it had a yellow label on it, and then as time went on, it got a green label, and a 4-page dot matrix printed newsletter came with it. And the cassettes, well, for me anyway, the tapes were hard to load. they were mass produced and not very easy to load. And then as soon as C-Load made a disc version of it available, I signed up for that. So I've got those somewhere. But that was it was an interesting little thing. I think it folded about 1984 or something like that. But there was no limit to or whatever to what type of programs they were put there. Do you remember, Alex? It used to be one side was for level 1, the other side was for level 2. You recall?
Yeah, I still have some cassettes. I never subscribed, believe it or not, even though I sold programs to them. But yeah, one side is level 1, the other side has level 2. And
yeah. So did they send you one each time you published a program? They would ship it to you.
exactly. Whenever my game got published, they would give me a tape or ship me a tape. And I
Yep.
became kind of good friends with some of the people. Again, they were in Santa Barbara. I was in Santa Barbara, so I would just drive over. They were located in the airport, so it was interesting with all the jets taking off and this and that.
Mm.
But yeah, I was kind of sad to see it go. But one thing I will say too is that there's somebody wrote a program here because I wanted my stars source code and I didn't have it on floppies. I ran into the same thing Craig has run into. I'm trying to archive all my floppies onto a GoTech, which is what I've done, and about 90% of them I could read, 10% are not working. But I didn't have the stars code, so I had a cassette tape, and of course, 15 seconds in, there's a huge dropout, and it would not load on the Radio Shack computer. But when I digitized it, you could see, I made a video on this too, you can see the audio drops down, but it's not completely gone. And there's a program, you feed it in, I think it's TRS tools or something, and it just fixes it. And the source code was all there, and I was able to get it into an ASCII file, and then there you go. And it's just, to me, it's like a miracle. If only we had this 40 years ago, because as you say, Sealude magazine was very problematic. They recorded each program twice on different parts of the cassette so that, in case there's a dropout in one, you could go to the other copy and obtain that. Oh, thank you. Stu put a comment there about reviewing Sealude. Yeah, and someone has archived all of the Sealude, not the games, but those 4-page things. There's a
Yep.
link. I don't know where it is, but it was fascinating reading through some of those and what they talk about. And is
Yeah,
that
yeah. They were a good short read. They didn't take up a bunch of time, and yeah, they were good. Ira, who was on here before on his website, I think he has nearly all, if not all, of the cassettes and discs already imaged and in his archive. So you might want to look that up later. TRS-80.com, and see if there's any that he's missing that that you have in your collection. Because I like to think that magazines like Seaload were prolific and hundreds of thousands of tapes went out, but maybe it wasn't that many. Maybe it didn't get to that many people and they lost their tapes, or I don't know, recorded over it because there was going to be an interview on the radio.
something? Yeah, it's
You
true.
know, or
Yeah.
something.
Pretty
Yeah,
mixed
yeah.
times.
A couple of my games are on that site too. I thought that was kind of cool to see them
Yeah,
archive stuff. It
yeah,
was,
he does a lot of work there. He does a lot of work there.
he's amazing. He's just totally an amazing guy. I just have so much appreciation. He's helped me out with the GoTech to get the HFE files and
Yep, yep.
whatnot. Just
Yeah, he's great, and he's been doing it forever.
yeah.
He has. Lucky last is Todd Garber. I know you sent a message saying you haven't got much to report, so you just want to turn your mic off and tell us you haven't got much to report.
Yeah, I haven't got anything to report. Just enjoy watching all you guys and listening in and all your
Yep.
help you give. So thank you.
Did you make it to
Yeah.
Tandy Assembly this year,
I
Todd?
didn't this time. I did last year. I was in the UK for 17 days, and so I missed out. If you move it a week, maybe next time I'll be able to
Well,
go. But
So
I'll
there's
have to come
always
to the
next
UK
year.
home
There's
for that.
always next year with Tandy Assembly. There's always, so
Yeah,
it'll be good to
exactly.
see.
I look forward to it. It was enjoyable when I went, and super good to see all you guys and all your
Yep.
good work. I enjoyed a lot.
All right, I think we've covered just about anything. Has anyone got any last things they want to say before we wrap this thing up into land? Nope, nope, nope. Blank stares, crickets. All right, so we're going to do this in a month, aren't we, Pete?
We'll try.
We'll try, and we'll try and choose a book or magazine to talk about as well, and yeah, we'll all catch up with what we've been doing. So, and what we're planning for Christmas, because this year's going to end. It's racing towards the end of the year. All right, guys. Thanks for coming along, and we'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.
Thanks, everybody.